Are we really about to watch LeBron James slip out of purple and gold and into Mavericks blue? Just like that, without a goodbye parade on Figueroa and without a final. Chapter written in the city that turned every random Tuesday into a playoff night, because if even one credible voice inside the league is willing to plant a flag on Dallas next season, there's fire under this smoke. And timing is the villain here. Age 40, but still elite. A 23rd season loading, the calendar shrinking while decisions keep getting louder. And if you're a Lakers lifer who refuses to get blindsided by headlines built to hurt, lock in with us right now, drop a like so this reaches every fan who needs to hear it first. Subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report so the narrative stays in Lakers' hands. And let's treat this like a film session where emotion meets logic. Because the rumor is simple to say and hard to swallow. One path keeps the king in LA beside Anthony Davis and the core we've suffered and celebrated with. Another path tempts him toward Dallas, sharing the floor with Luka Doncic and Kyrie, Irving in a system engineered to lighten the nightly load and sharpen the postseason math. Start with why the conversation exists at all. No one is pretending the consensus says Dallas, but what matters is that a handful of decision makers around the league, people who get paid to read tea leaves, were willing to go on record informally, sure saying they'd take the field over the Lakers if they had to pick today, with at least one pushing their chips toward the Mavericks. And that tiny sliver of belief becomes a megaphone when you stack it against context that actually fits. A staff led by a head coach LeBron respects, a heliocentric superstar who bends the floor so violently that secondary creators eat easy, veteran shooters who don't need the ball to matter, vertical rim threats who catch every pass within 4 feet of the cup, and a franchise that just reminded the West what ruthless spacing looks like when the threes fall in bunches. And then there's the chemistry piece most people reduce to hashtags. LeBron's basketball is translation. He loves teammates who speak his dialect of time and trust, and Dallas, on paper, offers familiar grammar, read and react pace. Early screens to manufacture angles, 5-out layers that pull a third defender one step too far, late clock clarity where the best decision beats the loudest dribble. Put LeBron in that context, and you can imagine the possession trees that keep him fresh snug pick and rolls to force. A switch onto a smaller wing, flare actions to free a catch at the nail, short roll reads where he becomes point center for 2 minutes at a time. Then the bully post counters when the defense finally stops sending help because they're tired of giving up standstill threes. But rumor isn't roster baiting. It's math and meaning. The math is ugly. Cap mechanics, exceptions, cooperation. The cold reality that adding LeBron is never. Just add LeBron. The meaning is heavier. Does he want to be co-author of a story that already has a title, Luka's team, or does? You want to keep authoring the Lakers volume alongside a D, where every chapter still starts with his voice, even if the font has gotten smaller. And this is where the anxiety turns honest, because the human part matters. Moving markets isn't just flights and jerseys. It's family rhythms, brand gravity, school calendars. Memories that live in physical places after 2 decades of being the sun. Choosing a new galaxy at 40 isn't romantic, it's exhausting. Yet players chase that one last perfect basketball situation, the way climbers chase a weather window. If the wind is right and the ice is good, you go, even if it's late. So what would right look like in Dallas? Picture an April possession with LeBron, Luka, Kyrie, a spacer who doesn't miss the corner, and a lob big who jumps like a spring. Luka strings the defense along the baseline. LeBron goes to the screen and catches at the free throw line. The weak side low man tags high because he remembers last play's pocket pass. And in that split second, LeBron throws a no-look to the dunker spot for an easy 2. Next trip, same shape, but this time he punches the lane, forces the tag, and sprays to the corner 3. 2 minutes later, Kyrie cooks a mismatch while LeBron hides on the weak side, conserving the legs he'll need in the last 7 minutes. Then in winning time, the ball finds LeBron in the post. He leans, spins, and you remember that for all the talk of age, he still bends space when it matters. That's the story Dallas can sell. Your job gets easier. Your impact stays deadly. the film room is full of adults who get you. But here's the truth from our side of the aisle. There's an equally powerful story that keeps him in Los Angeles, and it's not just loyalty or statues or sunsets. It's Anthony Davis healthy and mean, swallowing possessions on defense so LeBron can pick pockets of the game to dominate. It's our internal creators growing into their roles so late clock doesn't become late panic. It's a front office connecting fit to timeline instead of patching holes with names. It's a coaching voice that understands the delicate balance of asking LeBron to lead without asking him to live at 36 minutes and 30 usage every night. It's continuity finally cashing out after too many hard resets. And it's the emotional economy that only Lakers fans truly understand how much winning here is worth, how loud Los Angeles gets when a run starts, how the building feels sentient when a stop becomes a 9-0 avalanche. So why does the Dallas path still spook us? Because it exploits our soft spots, our fourth quarter execution when the paint shrinks, our stretches of dead ball offense when the threes don't fall, our habit of treating the regular season like a prelude and being shocked when seeding matters. The Mavericks can point to a recent blueprint that weaponized their stars and minimize the tax of role players who are asked to do too much. They can show clips where the scheme covers for heavy legs and clips where stars take turns instead of taking on water. That's temptation. But temptation is not destiny. For this to move from podcast rumor to ink on paper, 3 things have to align. 1, Dallas would need a clean corridor to make it worth LeBron's while without gutting the very depth he'd be. Joining creative, yes, but not destructive. 2, LeBron would need to believe he can get the kind of co-pilot with a veto authority there that he already owns in Los Angeles. A promise that doesn't evaporate the second a losing streak hits. 3, our season would have to end in a way that makes one last different try feel like courage rather than escape. Miss any one of those and the gravitational pull of LAD, familiarity, the city that fits him like a tailored suit wins. And as fans, we should talk about it like adults. Not he'd never or he's gone, but the sober truth that every great player's late career is a series of scale readings. How heavy is the ask? How light is the load elsewhere? How much do I want the responsibility that comes with the roar of this building? Now, because I can already hear the cynics, let's address the emotional manipulation at play online. Clickbait will say confirmed when all that's confirmed is that people are talking. Speculative graphics will dress him in Dallas blue like it's done. Aggregator accounts will cut a quote down to 7 words and strip it of maybe and if. That's not how we operate here. We talk possibilities with respect for how fragile they are. We'll admit that Dallas is more than a meme. There's a real basketball idea under the rumor, one that makes sense if the numbers can be tamed and if the egos can be harmonized. But we'll also defend the idea that the clearest path to a confetti night might still run through El Segundo, where the weight room knows his routines, where D's two-way violence lets him choose his spots, where young legs can sprint the regular season while he saves the high notes for May. Let's get granular for a minute, because you're here for more than vibes. In LA, the optimization plan is straightforward. Reduce back-to-backs. Structure minutes into 2 violent bursts per half. Recommit to the inverted pick and roll that weaponizes LeBron as a short roll playmaker. And own the tempo gain so late fourths aren't uphill sprints. Surround him with 2 pure spacers and a vertical big as often as possible. And treat 3 dribbles or less like a religion when he shares the floor with a duh. That setup is how you manufacture clean looks without grinding miles into the odometer. In Dallas, the optimization is different. You're the scalpel, not the hammer. You carve second units to death and hold the finisher's torch at the end. You don't chase pace, you manipulate it. And the biggest lift becomes cultural stars have to choose to love the boring stuff together. Because if even one guy hunts his own rhythm at the wrong time, the math stops working. Which environment does a legend pick for the last true sprint? The one where he owns the keys but pays for gas, or the one where he rides shotgun and saves gas for the mountain? As much as I love the poetry of a final LA run, I can't lie about the seduction of a role that asks LeBron to be lethal in 28 minutes instead of heroic in 36. That's why this rumor hums instead of fades. And then there's the legacy game everyone will pretend not to care about until they do. If he wins here, the image is perfect purple and gold confetti, a last dance speech that lives on billboards for a decade. If he wins there, the image is disruptive him as the ultimate problem solver, the guy who parachuted into a ready-made offense and made it inevitable. Both count, but they count differently. Which ending does he want to live with? Which ending do you want for him? For us? I'll stake my opinion because this channel is built on honesty. I believe LeBron starts next season in Los Angeles. Not because Dallas isn't attractive, and not because the chatter is fake, but because the internal math still favors what he already has with a D when our role players fit, when the health plan holds, and when the late game packages are built with ruthless clarity. I think the lure of sculpting one more Hollywood night beats the idea of co-authoring a Texas sequel. But I also believe this isn't dead, not while the chessboard stays friendly in Dallas, and not while even one league voice keeps a Maverick square open on their bingo card. So keep your eyes up, Lakers family. Stay loud, stay smart, and don't let lineups you haven't seen yet steal your peace today. If you're reading this far, you're the reason this channel breathes. Leave your take in the comments. Would you rather watch LeBron chase a perfectly tailored fit next to Luka and Kyrie? Or do you want his last iconic snapshot to be here with a D, under our lights, with one more banner rising where it always belonged? I'm betting on Los Angeles, and I'm ready to be wrong if the universe aligns just right in Dallas. Either way, we'll ride every ripple together, because that's what this fan base does best: turn panic into purpose and rumors into fuel.